Hello everyone, I'm Tracy and I'm here with Shane. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the experience I had and the evidence that I found in Camarillo investigating the mountain fire, which is going on currently. And this is my very first time going to a burn site. So I wanted to make sure I got this out. And also, this is a Sunday. I don't normally film on Sunday, but this is so time sensitive because the fire is still active. It's only 27% contained. So I'm just assuming more properties will be burned. And I wanted just to inform you guys as much about what's really going on. Before we get started, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe before you leave and like, comment, and share this video so we can let as many people know what's really going on. So with that, let me show some of the photos, actually some of the video I got from a property we visited. And this was courtesy of Donnie and Christian's property. It burned not the house, but it burned like the front area and a car and a motorhome, which was on the property. And you'll see what is left of those things right here. And so this one is the car.
It helps anything out with the Maui stuff because I know that was totally intentional. Oh, then to come and give the people $750, what a freaking joke.
Not everyone even got
Maui's
it.
my favorite. I've been to Maui many times.
Yeah. So this was a black car. Oh wow, the aluminum is all puddled. Completely leveled. And the wires are left. And then the glass is all melted. Yeah, this looks like that Maui car.
Was there anything else burning other than just this, pretty much this car?
This is a 35-foot fifth wheel motorhome.
That was motorhome?
That was a 35-foot fifth wheel motorhome.
All right, and then I'm going to let Shane go into a little more detail. But before we do that, I want to show you a picture of what the car looked like before it burned. And thank you for the viewer that identified that this was the make and model. It's a Porsche 928. I don't know if it was in this pristine condition, but this is the model that of that car we just saw. So I'll let you, Shane, explain a little bit more about what was in that video.
Okay, so in that video, the first thing I noticed was the condition of the paint job. It was completely rusted off, or the metal was completely oxidized. Normally, a car sitting in the elements like that without paint on it would take years to reach that state of oxidation. However, right after the fire, so that was only maybe 2 days old, that footage. The fire was it is still burning, but that was within a day or two of that car actually having been burned, and you could see the oxidative state of the metal. So that was the first thing that struck me. The second thing was that we did see aluminum pooling on the ground, which indicates at least 1200 degrees. Oh yes, I should show some of these photos here.
This is the rusted part.
Okay, so
the tire.
Okay, now this right here, this is the steel belted radial cords that show what's left of the tire is nothing but the radial cords. And forensic arborist Robert Brame has discovered that most tires in these kind of fires that have steel belted radials will burn, but the polyester cord tires actually don't burn. So I did want to point that out. And then we have let's see here. Yes, this metal. So this is a piece of melted aluminum that it's sitting on top of leaves, and these look like they possibly could be, I'm not going to guess on the type of leaves, but you could hear Tracy walking around on the leaves, and they were crunchy. They sounded like they were dry. And speaking of dry leaves, I don't have a photo of this, but there was a branch sticking up that had dry leaves on it right next to the rear driver's side quarter panel of the car. So as Tracy's walking around the back corner of the car, you could see the branch with the dry leaves on it sticking up right between her and the car. So if that was a natural combustive fire, you would think that the combustive flames would have caught onto the dry leaves that were very close in adjacent to the car. So I
Okay,
did
and
want
then
to point
here's
that out. So
the glass. This is the engine. I think this is the engine.
yeah, you can see some aluminum, which might be like the manifold or the cam, I'm not sure, cam cover on top of it, or valve cover on top. And then when you go back to the previous photo, where did that go? Yeah, that one. You can see on the where the windshield would have been, at the very bottom of where the windshield would be, you could see pools of glass that have glazed over on top of the frame there. So yeah, glass takes about 2,700 degrees to melt, which is a lot higher than it would take for aluminum.
All right, I'm going to show what's left of the motorhome. And he said this was a 35-foot motorhome, and it's almost completely gone. And I was just kind of thinking later, that was a huge vehicle, and this is what is left. This was a motorhome. Looks like the glass is all melted. The nails are still there. And it doesn't smell like it. Was there a weird smell earlier? Chemical smell or no?
Oh yeah. The weird part is that the whole can is not burnt. How did this burn and that flame right there is not burnt?
Yeah, the dry brush is still there, and that got burned.
Weird?
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a better, we have another clip of the gulch that the firemen were putting out. There was like an underground fire in that like ravine. And that ravine reminds me of the gulch that I saw in Kula. And it was weird that just one part of it was burned, but a lot of the trees surrounding it were fine. And this is another really interesting one. Did you want to add anything to the motorhome damage?
Well, it just looks like with the motorhome itself, the only things remaining were probably made of steel alloys. Like the aluminum siding and everything you would normally find on a motorhome was completely gone. I couldn't even see anything left of it on the ground.
Okay, right. And then here are some planters or trees. They were in the ground, but they were burned in a very unusual fashion. So I think this burned. Yeah, so this net.
See that?
Yeah.
There's the base of the tree.
So the base, but not the top. See, the top of the net's fine. There's some blue stuff, but there's nothing stuff.
It's like fire was coming out from underneath it. It was like the ground.
So that's something we saw in Maui, the bases of the trees, like the roots caught on fire, but sometimes the tops were left okay. And I saw those blue things, but I don't think that's any kind of evidence. It was amongst a lot of other burnt stuff. It just happened to be that blue color. And then here's one that's really interesting. It's a pile of two piles of glasses, and one is burned and one is not.
Yeah.
I was like,
These were,
those ones didn't make it.
yeah. What's the difference between
I don't know.
that pile and this pile? They're right next to each other. Very interesting.
So I don't know what happened there. You have any ideas of?
I do actually. So the second pile that looked a little more disorganized, it had a piece of metal laying across it that looked like it was also touching the ground. So
Oh,
if there was metal there and the metal's touching the ground, it's going to cause the stuff around it to be even hotter because the metal acts kind of like a heating element. And I also
yeah.
wanted to mention that the previous clip with the netting, that netting looked like it was perhaps a very flammable material. However, it stopped burning about halfway up from the ground. Fire likes to go up, and there was more fuel up above that should have also burned, but for some reason the fire stopped burning once it got a couple feet from the ground. Also, the fire does look like it was most intense at the bases of those trees as well.
All right. So I'm gonna hand it over to you to do the mapping and touch on the meetings regarding the smart city, and then I'll come back and introduce Donnie and Christian, who we got to speak to about this. So, do you want me to pull up the map, or you
All
want to
right.
do the?
Okay. No, I can pull this up actually. There's two
Okay.
different, no, that's the wrong one. I wanted to pull up this map here. All right,
Oh,
so
sorry.
this, no. This map right here. Okay, so this map actually has shows most of the burn zone, and you can see that it had crossed the 118 into the area of Camarillo. However, the area between the 101 and the 118 is where most of the homes were impacted. Now, I added the blue lines to this map because everywhere you see a blue line is where there is a transit project. Now, some of these are called transit opportunity corridors. Some of these are also considered part of the transit oriented development plan, but they have a new term that I've only come across just recently. And I think it's because they're trying to rebrand in different localities. So these are what they call high quality transit areas. That's another term, HQTAs. And everywhere you see the blue is where there is a plan for a transit corridor or a transit area. And there is like a Metrolink rail that runs through this area, and I think it's going to be expanded. I know they're trying to do so before the 2028 Olympics. And it also fits with the 5-year plan. So they do have a 5-year plan, which was just recently adopted, and it goes into effect basically from 2023 to 2028. However, there were meetings for the Camarillo Old Town Strategic Plan. Now, going back to this map here, right where it says Camarillo in the lower right corner, right above the M, there's that small blue square, and that's what's going to contain the Camarillo Old Town. So the Camarillo Old Town is going to be converted into a mixed-use commercial and residential area with, 15-minute walkability and transit areas and all that kind of stuff, everything that we've talked about when it comes to 15-minute cities that have also been called smart cities. All of those elements are present in these plans. Now, I just wanted to add that this Camarillo plan, actually the deadline was September of 2024, so it's a little bit too late to do our input on this one. However, they are still holding meetings for the Ventura County-wide short-range transit plan. And so it shows here that on Thursday, December 3rd, from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m., there's going to be a meeting in Santa Paula. And then on Wednesday, December 4th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m., there's going to be a meeting in Camarillo at the community center. So there is still time to voice your concerns. If you live in this area, make sure to attend these meetings and voice your concerns about the redevelopment plan. So that's all I have for the plans for now. I did uncover a lot of stuff, but it could be a video all of its own.
Okay, and then I did forget to show this. So this is the drive that I did, this yellow line right here, and I want to show the area that we went to because it's definitely not a densely populated area. It's a it's a beautiful area. It's mountainous and it's spread out. The homes are bigger and the properties are bigger. I think a lot of these properties are about an acre, maybe even more. So it's much different than areas like Lahaina and some of these areas we're seeing flooding. And the fires, the houses that burned were sporadic. They're not the ones that I saw were not like grouped together. It was like one house burned here and then something else here. But yeah, this is kind of what the area looks like, and it's a agricultural area as well. We drove by fields and farms, so it's it's not like a typical Southern California community. It's kind of, I don't know, a little unique in my opinion. And then I also wanted to introduce the two people that were very gracious in letting us film on their property. I'm always a little hesitant, you know, walking onto someone's property and getting footage, but I saw these cars or these vehicles, which were vehicles, and as I was approaching, Donnie, I'll show them right here. Donnie came up.
Just say Donnie and Christian helped us out.
D-O-N-N-I-E.
Hi, Donnie. Thanks for helping us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So that's Donnie. That's his property that he owns, and we also spoke to his son, Christian, and I apologize. I went with my friend Stacy. We didn't know if we would speak to anyone. We didn't know what we would find, and there was a lot going on, roadblocks. This area, I didn't know how to find things, and we almost gave up until we came across their property. And here's a little bit about what Christian has to say about the day of the fire.
The winds, were they like on and off and then on and then off?
It was just pretty chaotic for a long time straight. Like just, I came here earlier in the day. I could tell it was gonna get windy.
Okay.
I could tell but everything was dark already. I was like, this doesn't look good. It was all smoky. And then I came back like an hour and a half later, and that's why this place was on fire. And I could see all the wind and everything.
So he was saying that the winds were strong that day. And while we were exploring this area, we spoke to a number of people, and they did say that the winds were kind of, they would have like a strong gust and it would kind of settle down and it would pick up again. They thought it was a little odd. Something else that I really wanted to report is that everybody that we spoke to in the area understands that this is not right, that there's something weird going on. They don't think this is like a completely natural event, yet they don't know exactly what it is. And Stacy, who I was with, is from Maui, and every time we mentioned, we were in, Stacy's from Maui, everyone was like, oh, okay, yeah. They just understood what we were doing because we were trying to compare the different fires. And so for, those that think people in California are completely liberal and are fully on board with the climate change hoax, I don't think that's really the case. I think at least the people that we spoke to, and I believe a lot of people now that are seeing what's happening, understand that there is a lot more going on than these fires caused by climate change. And then what else did I? Right. And so also thank you so much, Donnie and Christian, for being so helpful. And if you guys are listening, please send an email or leave some comments. And if either one of you wants to come on the channel and share more about, what you guys experienced and maybe some other things that you've been hearing or things that you found in the property, please let us know. And did I cover everything?
Let's see here. We got the car, we got the motorhome. You showed the net with the trees and the bases. You showed the glasses, and you talked to Donnie and Christian. I think that's almost everything except for Malibu, if you want to mention Malibu.
Oh, okay. Really quick. We came across another. Does this have audio? The Malibu clip?
Yes, I think it does.
Okay, so this is a fire in Malibu that was happening the same time that the Camarillo fire broke out, but this was much smaller. It was in a park. It was very close to the ocean. I believe a couple houses did burn down that were on the water or very close to the water, but this one didn't seem suspicious. I didn't find anything unusual, but I'll let you see what Malibu looked like. And then it burned all this here. It looks kind of normal.
Maybe we can go up on the hill over there. Can you make it through all the way there?
Yeah, let me just stop this. So I apologize for the cinematography there. I was just trying to do the best I could, but it was very blackened. You know, all the trees were black, the ground was black. And we did see some metal that was not burned, and we saw some metal and wood, but it wasn't anything conclusive. So I can't figure out, you know, these are unusual that these fires broke out at the same time, yet they look different. The aftermath looks different. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for your patience. We try to get this up as soon as possible, but if you're in the area that's being evacuated or you're close to this fire, please stay safe and collect evidence if you come across of it, and please send it my way or post it on your own.
I was going to say, if you do collect evidence, you're going to be coming into contact with, the burn material or the ash or the dust. Use protective, equipment like gloves and perhaps even masks and stuff. I can't believe I'm telling people to wear a mask, but in this case, it might actually be worth it. But yeah, if you're going to be touching, or even taking samples or anything, make sure to use like rubber gloves and put things in plastic and wash your hands afterwards.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.